it's Sophie. So I'm going to be doing a pretty chilled out video today. It's going to be kind of like a stitch and bitch format, just because I just fancy doing some knitting and I wasn't really sure what to film about, and I thought let's just have a sort of chatty video. I thought that could be nice. I'll show you first sort of what it is that I'm going to be making throughout this video. I'm sure you'll see me wearing it at some stage in the future. But it's this raglan jumper by Pearl Soho. It looks like it's going to be absolutely gorgeous. They've got really beautiful sort of pictures the whole way through. It's just a really cosy wool. I'm making it in, let's hold up a bit for you, making it in a colour called Kiln Red, so it's kind of an orangey colour, and I'm just working my way at the body at the moment. I will leave links to both the site that does the pattern and the wool. It's actually the same woman. Be aware that it is fairly expensive. I normally don't knit with such expensive wool or such expensive patterns, but every now and again I kind of feel like spoiling myself with wool, and I tend to have one sort of project a year that I will spend time and spend a bit of money on, and this jumper is this year's thing. So just if you're sort of casual knitter, it might not be quite up your street, but if you do sort of want something really plush and lovely, then all of their designs are absolutely gorgeous. So I thought I'd tell you just a little bit about what I'm reading at the minute, and any other sort of news. I'm working my way through House of Leaves at the moment. You guys know that I'm doing my reread this month. I'm a little over 300 pages in at the moment, and I'm really enjoying it. It's a bit of a different experience rereading it to the way it was reading it the first time, and it's been a while since I have actually read it. I read it first when I was 18, and I'm reading it again now, sort of 5 years on. So it's interesting to look at sort of how I've changed as a reader, really, I suppose, in approaching the book and in what I think of it. I think I'm focusing more on the sort of interpersonal relationships than I did before. One of the things I'm sort of considering the whole way through this time is the point of authorship, and that's kind of a theme that plays in through House of Leaves. We'll talk more about it. I think I'm probably going to do a review when I finish reading it, just because I've seen a couple of reviews. I know Jaboski's got a good one up, but I just thought I'd add to the sort of general House of Leaves pool, if you guys are interested in that. And I'm also working my way through. I've read 2 essays so far of A Supposedly Fun Thing I'll Never Do Again by David Foster Wallace. It looks like this. And I don't think I've hauled that one for you guys yet, or if I have, it might have been in my mini haul. But I was kindly sent that one for review by a company called Social Book. This isn't sponsored by them or anything, but I just wanted to chat about them a little bit because it's actually been, I've quite enjoyed using it. So they have a sort of book review program, and that was what I was invited to sort of go in and just choose some books that I was interested in, and then they're quite strict with your review times, but you know, I thought I'd give it a shot. But what they mostly do is I also have a price comparison site for books, and I wouldn't really thought that's something I would use particularly, because I tend to go for newer releases, and the sort of backlist stuff I'm doing, I tend to go for sort of nice editions, and I'll spend a bit of money on my books. I'm not someone who's really thrifty, or at least at this stage in my life I'm not. So I didn't really think it was going to apply to me, but actually I've found 2 occasions I've used it and it's been really useful. So I read A Mother's Reckoning by Sue Klebold. Haven't spoken about that one with you yet. But that's the mother of Dylan Klebold, so of Columbine. And just sort of as a side point in there, she mentioned about Stephen King writing a book called Rage. Now, I'd never heard of Rage. It's one of his books written under his pseudonym. I think it was the first one he wrote under his pseudonym. And it's about a school shooter. And there'd been a lot of sort of controversy, and I think 6 school shooters had referred to Rage in their sort of manifestos. And so King pulled publication of this book, and it's never been restarted again, and I think that's a good move on the sort of behalf of King, and you know, quite a big move, especially if the book was doing well. That said, I'm a bit naughty. I know probably I shouldn't seek this book out because that's not what he intended, but I am really interested in reading it. You guys know that darker side of stuff is really interesting to me, and you know I really like Stephen King, so the sort of 2 together meant I really felt like I wanted to see if I could get hold of a copy. And I started looking, and they're all sort of $400, $500 just for a really crappy like mass market paperback. And I would never do that. Like, that's, you know, I like books, but I'm not someone who collects like old copies really. And it was just a bit of a shame because I wanted to read it, and I happened to remember, I was like, oh yeah, there was that thing. And I managed to find a copy that was for like £11 second hand. And it was actually Blackwell, so go on Blackwell's, they appear to have some old editions of a few things. And I did manage to get hold of it in sort of a compendium of other things from him. And there's no way I would have been able to get that otherwise. And yeah, so I just kind of wanted to just shout out about that a little bit. If there are books that you're looking for that are at publication, a bit harder to find, and maybe Amazon and Book Depository and, you know, the standards aren't finding it for you, it can be quite a useful resource just to find those ones that are a little bit more out of the way. I had a subscriber as well actually ask if I found somewhere, they sort of mentioned that the cipher was like crazy expensive. I hadn't realised that I'd gone out of print when I mentioned it in my other video, and I found a copy of that one as well for about £6 through that site for them, and I didn't know if they bought it or not. But yeah, just to know they're sort of there, and that there are these copies lurking around secondhand that you can pick up relatively cheap, especially when stuff's gone out of print. I don't know, I just thought you guys might find it useful. I'll leave the link below. I do get commission on it, just so you're sort of fully aware, but only on books I'm reviewing, so I'm not going to leave the review link down below, so I won't get any commission on anything you search just randomly. But if there are certain books that I'm reviewing, then they do offer me commission on those. Just so you're fully aware of my sort of motivations. What other sort of bookish news is there? Obviously there's a Bob Dylan thing. I'm not really sure what I think of that, to be perfectly honest. I was a little bit miffed to start with, because it's a bit of an unpopular opinion, I really don't like Bob Dylan. I've never really liked Bob Dylan. Nearly every boy I've ever gone out with has loved Bob Dylan, and kind of completely just completely fallen for him and like his whole lifestyle and all that sort of stuff. So I've been exposed to quite a lot of his music, sitting in cars and just sitting in their rooms. I'm like, lovely. I don't get it. I don't like his voice at all, and I can't tell if I like his lyrics or not, because I find his voice so hard to listen to that I don't know what he's singing about. And it just, for me, it's just a really sort of uncomfortable, really nasty experience. I know lots of people do like him, and I know that sometimes I listen to people whose voices are a little bit strange, and I really like that. So I fully appreciate that my opinion is not the overwhelming one, but it was just a bit sort of like, oh, for God's sake, like, does everyone in my life have to love Bob Dylan like this much? And it just seemed a little bit of a shame that it didn't go to something that was sort of firmly within literature. I think it's interesting as a sort of, you know, topic to chat about as to whether music is literature or not. And I think arguably, you know, lots of especially sort of classical pieces would have been pieces that are spoken aloud, and would have been sort of very verbal things and songs and such. And maybe it is a little bit narrow-minded to think that because something's in a song it can't necessarily be literature, but I also am quite protective of books as physical things, and the music industry is so big and so intimidating and has so much control over so many things in terms of like the media that people intake, and I would just hate to see it lumped into the exclusion of other things within the literature as a genre, as a thing, as an entity, as an art form, I suppose. Just because sometimes I do feel as though in today's sort of culture, people tend not to be reading all that much, and in some ways it feels a little bit like a nod to an easy way out to say like, oh, you don't actually have to read anything, you just have to listen to this song, and then you know, read a Nobel Prize winner. And I don't think that's book snobbery, though it could well be, and if it is, just let me know. But it's just sort of feels slightly indicative to me of how people are less willing to put effort in to stuff. I mean, maybe I am being completely unfair, and maybe my not understanding him and not going away and reading his lyrics separately would indicate that I'm not actually that bothered at looking into stuff that doesn't interest me, and maybe I'm acting in just the same way as everyone else. That may well be true, I don't know. It's always hard to judge yourself, I think. Okay, so sort of personal news, I guess, sort of more socially orientated news. I'm doing a lot better than I was last time we spoke. I, as you guys know, was not doing brilliantly. I can't talk about it too much, but I have got some support, and I'm getting some medicine sorted out, and I'm pretty much better in myself. I am very lethargic as a result of my medicine, and so sort of normal filming isn't something that I feel I can do at the minute, but I thought chatting to you guys might be nice. I'm not going to be able to get anything up for you on Wednesday. I've tried to sort of think about it, but I can't, so I'm sorry, but you're not going to be able to have anything from me on Wednesday. I'm sure you'll cope. I've also not really been in a mindset where I've been sort of thinking of lots of things I could do with you guys, and sometimes I have ideas all the time and I think, oh, that'd be brilliant, and I sort of overflow with them. I have a sort of video planner, and sometimes I'll go ahead for like a month, and to be perfectly honest, at the moment that's not the sort of mindset I'm in. So if you do have some things you'd like to see sort of next weekend, by all means leave a comment down below, and I'm more than happy to sort of take those on and have a look and see if I can do those, just because at the minute, sometimes you take the path of least resistance, and I'm always interested in filming the kind of content that you guys want to see from this channel, though I know you'll all say in the comments, because you always do, that I should just do what I want to do, but sometimes honestly just tell me what you'd like. I'm someone who normally is quite sort of happy to do what other people want to do, not tending to come into things with sort of great personal ideals of what I have to do and what I don't have to do. I'm more than happy to be dictated to every now and again. So yeah, if there is anything you particularly wanted to see, then I'm happy to do that for you. I'd love to know how you're all doing. I always do. And just let me know how you are in the comments. If you ever want to chat to me about anything bigger, I don't really say this much because I'm always sort of cautious that I may well not be the right person, but if you do ever want to talk to me about stuff, my email's on my channel page, and you're welcome to send me something if you just fancy a chat, or if you wanted to talk through anything. I'm happy to do that every now and again, that's fine. But otherwise, I'd love to see you in the comment section. Let me know what you're reading this weekend, let me know what you're making, if you are making anything in particular, and hopefully you will see me soon with a completed jumper, but we will see. We'll see how I go. Alright, love you all ever so much. Bye bye.